The Unsolved Murder of Phylicia Barnes. This case is one that the Baltimore City Police labeled as Baltimore's Natalie Holloway case. It continues to be considered the most vexing missing person case they have ever investigated. Phylicia Simone Barnes was born on January 12, 1994. She was an honor student from Monroe, North Carolina. According to her father, Russell Barnes, Phylicia was on track to graduate early from high school and was looking forward to a great future. Her goal was to become a teacher or counselor. Phylicia loved working with children. She planned to graduate early from high school and then attend Towson University for early childhood development. On December 28, 2010, Phylicia was in Baltimore visiting her sister. She was last seen walking towards Reisterstown Road Plaza in Baltimore, near her sister's apartment complex. Following her disappearance, Phylicia never used her debit card, cell phone, or logged into Facebook. A massive search for Phylicia was underway, with Baltimore police publicly stating that they were enormously concerned about the missing teen on January 3rd. On January 22nd, America's Most Wanted aired a short feature on Phylicia during commercials. 3 months after her disappearance came a renewed effort, and a $36,000 reward was offered. Billboards were placed on major highways asking for any leads on her disappearance. At 7:30 a.m. on April 20th, 2011, workers spotted a body floating in the Susquehanna River near the Conowingo Dam. Police confirmed the next day, through a tattoo and dental records, that the body was that of Barnes. Her funeral, which was private, took place in Georgia on May 7, 2011. Immediately after finding the body of Phylicia Barnes, the investigation into her murder began. Police did not rule out foul play, and they were hopeful the forensic investigation would bring at least some answers. On May 4th, following an autopsy, her death was officially ruled a homicide. The cause of death was determined, but was withheld at that time for investigative purposes in fear of jeopardizing the investigation. On September 6, 2011, WSOC-TV obtained court documents that showed Phylicia's sister was attempting to obtain a restraining order against her former boyfriend, Michael Johnson, just 2 months following the disappearance. News was leaked that he was reportedly the last person to see Barnes alive. Johnson's attorney stated that Johnson was not responsible for the murder, and that he had a new girlfriend and had moved on. Johnson was interrogated 8 times by police, but without a confession or more evidence of Johnson's involvement, the police were forced to release him each time. On April 25, 2012, Michael Johnson was arrested after fleeing from police in connection with the disappearance and murder. At a hearing on April 27, 2012, the first details of the murder became public. Assistant State's Attorney Lisa Goldberg testified at a hearing that Johnson asphyxiated Barnes at her sister's apartment and then carried her body out of the apartment in a 35-gallon plastic tub. He was reportedly seen sweating and struggling to move the container. While no motive was presented at the hearing, it was reported that Johnson had just broken up with Phylicia's sister. Johnson sought Phylicia's help with the breakup and had exchanged $500 phone calls and text messages with Barnes, considering her his little sister. It was also reported that during Phylicia's visit to Baltimore, Johnson had made Barnes feel uncomfortable. On February 6, 2013, the verdict for the murder trial of Michael Johnson was that he was acquitted of first-degree murder but convicted of second-degree murder. During the trial, Phylicia's sister and Michael Johnson's former girlfriend, Dina, testified that Johnson had allowed Phylicia to consume alcohol and then made sexual advances on her during her visit. A neighbor testified that he had seen Johnson carrying a container out of the apartment, the one Barnes was believed to have been transported in. A petty criminal testified that he had helped Johnson dispose of the body. The defense argued that no physical evidence proved that Johnson was the killer. The defense stated that the case was entirely circumstantial, and that Johnson did not have time to kill Barnes, clean the apartment of forensic evidence, and dispose of the body within the time frame given, and altogether, he had no motive to commit the crime. Johnson's attorney sought a new trial, alleging that the prosecution bolstered the credibility of the petty criminal who testified on their behalf during the trial. At Michael Johnson's sentencing hearing on March 20, 2013, the judge threw out the murder conviction and ordered that he receive a new trial. Johnson's new trial was originally set for February 21, 2014, but was postponed until April 28, 2014, at the request of his new attorneys. On January 20, 2015, Judge John Addison Howard dropped all charges against Michael Johnson, stating that there was insufficient evidence to continue the trial. On March 30, 2018, after a third trial, Johnson was acquitted of all charges related to the murder of Phylicia Barnes. In 2012, a bill known as Phylicia's Law passed in the Maryland General Assembly, named after Barnes. The bill requires the state to publish a list of missing children along with statistics and a list of volunteers who can aid law enforcement in the search for missing children. While similar laws exist in other states, this became the first such law named after a minority race child. The bill was signed into law by Governor Martin O'Malley on May 1, 2012. To this day, the case remains unsolved.